Mars waited for us. But when we finally came, it was to answer a call.
We are going to Mars. My name is Pakal Tavorin and I am one of the crew members on the trip to Mars. We're going to be landing in an area called Tharsis on this beautiful and somewhat scary planet. I am the mechanic of this crew and we have 12 weeks to go before we land. This is our beautiful ship called Iktomi. We only have something like 10 weeks left before we actually end up landing on the planet. Everything up to now has been going really good. We've been in space for almost 2 years now, and it's time for us to actually initiate our last preparation for the landing. Now, our pantry has been unfortunately malfunctioning for the last few days, and we actually decided to investigate what is going on in there, because this is obviously a very important piece of our ship where we store all our food. So the captain has ordered several of the crew to go in and try to see what's up. But for some reason, she didn't call me to do the job. She actually asked one of our botanists, Mr. Cross, to go and investigate. And it just so happens that things were not going very well inside the pantry. A lot of the malfunction was caused by the micrometeorite strike that passed through the cabin and actually damaged quite a lot of the different equipment. So it looks like I had to do most of the work here, but the captain actually did give me a few hours to prepare, and this wasn't an urgent assignment. In the meantime, J. Cross was actually going to try to fix as much as he could by himself, and so this is where we decided to just take a break and wait for him to finish. And at the same time, I actually wanted to see if he could do it, because I always had my belief in him, and I always knew that he had this hidden mechanic in him. And just like that, within an hour, everything was repaired. I had to do absolutely nothing. J. Cross, our botanist, succeeded, and we were all very, very happy. And looks like our pantry was going to be filled with food, because not only did the botanist repair the pantry, but was also able to quite successfully refill our food stock almost immediately within a few hours. And no, something's going on. Something's not right. Meteoroids. Oh no, we had the person outside. He had to go inside immediately. Something was not right. Oh my god. No. No. He was gone.
We had prepared for any disaster, for every disaster. Not all of them at once. We can't turn back, but how can we go on?
We've lost 2 crew members today. J. Cross has been ejected into space, and Miss Musgrave suffered a fatal injury. Her body was floating through the cabin of our spaceship, and we didn't really know what to do at this point. Our captain was devastated. Jean, she was never prepared for this, but we needed to act fast. We had 2 critical damage components on our ship, and I was actually inside one of them. If I didn't fix this immediately, our ship would actually start taking a lot of damage, and this could actually get much worse. However, the other ship component that was damaged would actually cause all of us to suffer, so we had to repair both of them and do it very quickly. Allison was the first to react. She threw herself into the bay that was actually that received most of the damage, and she decided to try to repair as much as she could by herself. But because she wasn't very experienced at the repairs, she unfortunately could not do much. She instead decided to focus on the research and would actually try her best next time. It was all up to us to do the rest of the repairs, and Allison felt devastated. She barely influenced the outcome and barely repaired the ship at all. Nevertheless, I had to repair the circuit damaged inside of the circuit breaker here, and I only had one chance to do it. I had to make sure that I do my best. I only really could do one thing today, and this was going to be it. And unfortunately, I failed. I was completely unsuccessful. I failed in my repairs, and nothing could be done anymore. But luckily, Kayla, our doctor, decided to help me out. So she joined me in here and decided to try to repair the circuit breaker that I failed in repairing. And just like that, even though she was a little bit injured by the electricity and electrical sparks everywhere, she was able to quickly repair everything. And because she was a doctor, she was also obviously able to heal up herself and me as well. And her effectiveness was extraordinary. Not only that, she was also able to do a little bit of research and investigate a few of the other things that were going on in the ship. So thank you, Kayla. You actually saved my life, and you most likely saved all of our lives with your quick reaction time. Now, Jean finally awoke from her trance, and it's quite understandable what she was going through. She lost 2 crew members, our 2 friends, but she needed to act fast. She decided to focus all of her attention on the area of the ship that had the most damage right now, and so she decided to try her best to repair it as fast as possible. Luckily, she was quite successful at doing just a little bit more repairs and was actually about halfway done with the repairs of this module. So hopefully within the next week, we'll be able to actually complete this work and finish all of the repairs.
Moods are turning sour. The crew's and my own. But if I can't lead them, we're all dead. I need to get it together.
Now, we've decided that we needed more food, but unfortunately this would actually cause our ship to get a little bit more damage because the food had to come from the area of the pantry that was damaged and would cause even more damage to our hull. But we needed food more than anything now, and this is why we've decided to go with the food. And Jane was nice enough to give me the food that we recovered, and the rest was actually, we all decided to give to Jane because she needed to be healthy, to be of sound mind, and to be able to control us and to run the ship as the real captain. Oh no, we had more damage coming. This is really horrible. We had a contamination of our soil in our greenhouse compartment, and on top of that, our ship received even more damage. We had to act fast, so we've decided to try to repair as much as we could this week, and so the captain was going to stay and repair the meteoroid strike in this particular compartment. And all that food paid off. She was able to quickly and majestically repair all of the damage and was basically done with this module. We would no longer be damaged by the effects of the broken apparatuses in this particular module on our ship. On the other hand, I decided to go into the greenhouse compartment and try to decontaminate the soil. I wasn't sure if it's going to work, but I had to try nevertheless. And just like that, I got very, very lucky. I was able to completely and efficiently repair all of it in 1 week. The rest of us had to repair the remaining module, and hopefully they would succeed because this was very imperative. Otherwise, our ship would take even more damage within the next week. So both Allison and Kayla decided to go and try to do their best here. They actually just needed to make sure that they don't really make it worse. And look at that. Allison this week got really lucky and was able to completely repair everything. She was actually very successful at doing it, which meant that Kayla now had a choice of doing something else for our crew and for our ship. And she decided to actually try to get as much food as possible by going into the greenhouse area and trying to get some food for our crew. However, on the other hand, what we just realized is that we could actually repair our ship even more. And so all 4 of us decided that we're actually going to spend some of our research points and try to get our ship back in order. This was actually a very good decision because otherwise we would actually have nowhere to live, and we were all very happy because we finally were able to repair everything.
The others have proven me wrong. I'm proud of how the crew has come together. I think we might actually have a chance.
And we also decided to sacrifice a little bit of our ship compartments and actually gain a little bit of health for ourselves, because being healthy was more important for us than to have a ship that would actually not really have anyone to preserve. But because we had no more food left, we were actually going to spend this week completely hungry. And of course, things were not going to be easy this week. We had a sudden damage in our centrifuge inside our medibay. We had a leak warning from our engine. And of course, our communication center had a sudden increase in high temperature. Allison decided to risk it again, and even though it was ridiculously hot inside, she decided to see what she could do. And unfortunately for her, she didn't really do as much as she was hoping for, but it was better than nothing. Kayla jumped into her medibay and decided to see if she could do some repairs as well, and just like that, she was actually able to do just a little bit of more and repair some of the immediate damage in this particular bay. While the captain decided to help her with her repairs, and she jumped in and finished the repairs by basically doing everything that our doctor was too tired to do. And because the captain was now full of vigor and full of energy and she was well fed, she was also able to restore her health and became very motivated to try to succeed in this mission. And now it was my choice to either try to repair the high temperature in our communication bay or plug in the hole that where we were losing air and our ship was actually getting damaged from. I decided to go for the leak because this was a lot more important for our ship and for us as well. And because I interestingly got really lucky this turn and this week, I actually thought that maybe I can try something a little bit different. I've decided that maybe, just maybe, I'm going to try to repair some of the damage from before using my skills and using my memory of what the ship was like before the damage was actually caused to it. And it looked like it worked. We actually did manage to repair some of the previous damage, and all we had to do now is wait and see what happens next week. And this is where we had to make a very important decision. The body of Mapia was still floating throughout the ship, and this is where we needed to decide what we're going to do with it. We had no food left. We were all starving. But we made a choice. We've decided to cut up her body and to use it for nutrition. First one to do so was the captain. Allison joined in and felt disgusted, but she had no other choice. Kyla also joined in and finished her meal, and all of us were actually not sure how to feel about it, but it has been done. We have now become cannibals, but we were now surviving and we were now well fed. I didn't join in on the feast because there was nothing left to eat, and also because she was my best friend. I couldn't do it. And now we had 4 damaged compartments. We had to act fast, we had to try to figure it out, because if we didn't figure it out, our ship would be destroyed within a week's time. I jumped back into the ship's engine and tried really hard to do as much repairs as I could. And just so you had it, I got really lucky, and we just had to finish a little bit of repairs before the engine would be completely fixed. Kyla decided to join in and try to finish the repairs, and I could actually smell the blood from her breath. They ate my friend, but they did survive, and they were now well fed. I wasn't sure how to feel about it, and I wasn't sure if I should have joined in as well, but it was too late for me to do anything. It has been done. Allison decided to try her luck again and try to fix the superheated components in this area, and just so you have it, she was actually very successful at doing it, and even had some time left to do a little bit of more research as well. This meant that we'll no longer be losing any health and we'll actually be able to survive just a little bit longer. And now it was Captain's choice to either try to fix the oxygen leak or to try to decrease the damage we were receiving in our greenhouse bay. She went for the greenhouse because food was more important than anything else, and she decided to see if she could do it in one swift turn. And unfortunately, the answer was no. She couldn't do anything, and she decided to instead focus on research and try to get as many research points as possible so we could then possibly use those points to improve our condition later on.
A transmission arrived, not from Earth, but from Mars, from Tharsis. An impossible signal from an impossible source. Is this what we're searching for? Who's transmitting this signal? Was there another mission to Mars? One sent before ours? Or is the message coming from some...
It felt like we were going crazy. Where was the signal coming from? What was going on? Was it the meat that we ate? Was it because we became cannibals? Something was definitely going wrong. But more than anything now, we needed food, and that meant trying to repair, trying to do something, even if it cost or made us more stressed out, we had to get more food. And that food had to go to me. I haven't eaten for 2 weeks, I was absolutely starving. And things were just getting from bad to worse. We now had a huge fire in our main compartment. We also once again had damage in our engine, and previous things were still not fixed either. Captain decided to give it one more chance and try to fix the damage that was in the greenhouse bay. We just needed a little bit more help to try to finish the repairs here, and so Allison decided to join the captain, and she was successful at repairing this damage. But this was not going to solve our problems, and here the problem was that our ship would be destroyed if we didn't act fast. I decided to jump into the compartment that had the most fire, and that was essentially burning all of our oxygen. And unfortunately the fire almost damaged me, but I was saved at the last minute and did not get burned. But because I was inside the medibay, even though I got burned on my second try, I could now actually administer a little bit of medicine to myself and increase some of my health. And then the rest of the time I decided to do a little bit of research and see if I could repair this next turn. But then we realized that if we didn't repair this now, our ship would be destroyed. So Kyla, despite all of her weaknesses and despite all of her inabilities to repair or to actually know anything about repairs, this was all basically up to her. She decided to jump into the medibay and see if she could finalize the repairs. If she couldn't do it now, we would all be dead, and it was very likely that if she didn't really have any luck in repairing this final compartment, this would be the end. And she didn't. She was unsuccessful, and she was unfortunately unable to get anything. We tried it again, and she failed again. Looks like this was the end of this trip. Looks like we could not do anything else here, and looks like our ship would now be completely destroyed. We did not survive the trip to Mars. We did not survive even half of the trip, and unfortunately our ship got completely destroyed. Maybe in some other universe, in a parallel galaxy, in a parallel universe, in a parallel world, we'll be more successful than this. But for now, we're all dead, we turn into cannibals, and our mission has been terminated. Thank you for watching, game you later, see you in the next video, and bye bye.